So tell me, so at 15 you started, you learned in a short time period. So obviously you're an intelligent kid. Were you a good student up until that point, or were you one of those smart kids that just didn't study? I mean, what was your, where were you? Where were you?
I am the kid that all the other kids hate because I knew I wasn't always the book smart. I was the street smart.
Yes.
I knew how. I was happy with my B's.
Right.
But I didn't have to work for it.
Right.
You know, I schmoozed. I knew how to talk. I knew what I was good at, and I enjoyed.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Oceanside.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah. And where are your parents from?
Rosedale.
Rosedale. I know Rosedale. I grew up right next door to Rosedale.
Yes.
Rosedale was, I lived in Woodmere, which is in Nassau County. Rosedale was the last town in Queens that bordered right against Nassau County.
It's my bar mitzvah. It's my bar mitzvah in the 5 towns.
Right, you get into the bar mitzvah circuit.
They keep me collage all around there.
Yeah.
That's where I got my start.
Rockville Center?
In Rockville Center.
All right, so tell us, so let's make the transition from, you get this kid, you sort of master these 30 times 5 and 150 in a short number of days.
Yeah.
And then you were just doing it to your parents, like you just said,
I was doing it in school.
Yeah.
And
now were you like doing it in school, like disrupting class, or doing it in the hallways?
I was kind of doing it in the hallways and stuff. I do it at lunch.
Right.
You know, and there was never anything to it. And then I learned that there's this big side of magic that you could find on the internet. You know, they had I started learning about all these professional magicians and stuff. So I wasn't just relied now to these little things. I realized that these were the little things. These are the things that anybody could do. So around a year and a half later.
So did you do your little tricks like to your friends? Did you start?
Oh yeah.
So what was your top trick when you first started?
I think it was just like little card tricks and stuff like that.
Picking the card.
I think it was like a fake deck of cards and stuff, which was always bad for me too, because people would be like, "Let me see the deck," and I'd be like, "No, I cannot," like no.
Yeah. And then a bigger kid would rip it out of your hand.
Yeah, it was like, "Oh, there goes that show."
Right, so your props have to be everyday props then.
So now, well, that was the one thing when I started really learning, I was like, I just want to use things that are. I didn't really start so much with close up. I kind of then went right to the stage stuff. I went right to the big stuff, and which got very exciting.
So where did you practice?
I practiced at my house, but the problem, there wasn't a market really. You know, like I couldn't. You know, that's when I started doing the kid shows.
Yes.
You know, that was where I got it to do it. But all the stuff I was doing was so kind of advanced.
Yes.
The kids couldn't even appreciate what I was doing.
Right.
You know, and I was like, okay, you know, this is not going. And around 16.
So were you really working this, or were you thinking, how can I use this as a way at least to...
Yeah,
you said a way to meet girls.
Yeah, when I first got them, I figured it was definitely something to break the mold, you know? And, you know, in the halls or something like that. Right. And
so was it one girl that you really liked you, that you never thought you could get, and all of a sudden the magic is doing magic?
Well, the funny thing about it was, in my high schools and my middle schools, those girls kind of, but when I started doing like teen club, like I would go to like a teen club, and I started performing at all of them.
Right. Well, then you become then you're an entertainer.
But then I'm an entertainer now. Now I'm not that kid that's in the hall that does magic.
Right.
I'm, you know, so I started getting kind of known around there. And
so what venues would you do?
I remember there was an old place on Hempstead Turnpike. Okay. It was called Insomnia. Okay. It was an old place, and it's not there no more.
What town was it in?
It was in East Meadow, I think it was.
Sure.
And I remember it was just a whole bunch of kids, and every Friday night we'd go and get our AX outfits that we, you know, like we get our new shirts. Yeah. Like it was like, and if people remember this, it was when a club was a club to us.
Yes.
You know, it was never it wasn't about, you know, what kid is on the new reality show or anything like that. It was just kids having a great time, and it was all new to us.
And this was age.
I had to be I was 17 or so, 16 or 17.
These were teen clubs.
Yeah, these were all the teen clubs.
Right.
And this was right after I came back from Vegas, when I competed in an international competition.
Oh, so you were like heavily into this already.
Right when...
How was that in Vegas, in an international magic competition?
When I started getting good at, or when I started really focusing on things, I found out about this convention out in Las Vegas, and it was a teen seminar out there. 40 of the top teen magicians in the country were invited to this. Me being one of them.
Now you were invited.
It was.
They knew of you, or you belonged to some.
It was kind of a very small. It was an exclusive thing that kind of was happening, and it was brand new.
Right.
So it was kind of, you kind of applied to go and stuff, and they had like 40 slots open.
Right.
And me being one of them, so it was the first time ever by these world-class magicians in Las Vegas.
Right.
All the Vegas magicians were there, and we got to meet them.
Yes.
And I competed in this competition, and I'd never been to a competition before. I didn't even know, I knew there were kid magicians out there, but I never knew the quality or anything like that.
Right, right.
I was competing against kids from Asia, from California, and then there was me from New York, who literally has never seen another magician before in his life.
Right.
And what's great, you
didn't have a magic club in high school?
No, there wasn't. There was like magic things around. Never got in. Like I said though, I never really fit in with most of the magicians. I kind of never related. I ended up placing third, and I was like, okay. And that's kind of what started the restaurant scene for me. I was on this kind of small ego trip. Like I came back, like I'm this good magician. I'm the man. You don't know what I did.
Did you win any money?
Yeah, I think I did. I can't remember the gift prize, but I remember I did win some money, and that was cool. I think I didn't even care. I think I still.
Did your parents go out with you?
My parents went out. The one thing great about my parents have always supported me, and they kind of still, they still do.
Yeah.
I'm glad they still do after 4 years of college, and this is what I'm choosing to do.
Right, right. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Adelphi. I studied business and marketing, and it was great. It was great 4 years of my life.
Yeah, definitely. It is a great 4 years. All right, so tell me about your first, when you came back from Vegas, you did your first restaurant, and when did you?
I started in Cabo, in Rockville Center. Rockville Center, it used to be an old restaurant, and it was the second day it opened.
Yeah.
And they had like this 4-hour wait list and everything. So I come in that day, I hear this is the cool spot. Right?
So it's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant club, bar area.
Yeah.
And so I walk in there.
Now, did you talk to the owner? I mean, how did you get?
I walked in, and I'm like, I need to see the manager here. I'm like,
so you didn't even pre.
I didn't pre anything.
You just walked up there.
I came in there. I was in like.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing this really oversized black suit with a purple shirt, like a purple button-down and a purple tie.
Right.
I had my hair like beyond spiked out, like that old the blowout. Because I was in the club scene, so that was the cool look. Grown Up Gotti was in right there, so we were. So I had this giant hair, and I walked in. I'm like, let me tell you how I can help your business.
Right.
And he looked at me like, who is this kid? I'm like, my name is Kevin Nicholas. I'm a magician. And I was just telling him some of the perks of, if you have a wait, you can entertain them while they wait, while they're waiting for their food, as well as, while they're at the bar hanging out. And I figured I would walk in. So he goes, all right, you're hired. And I was like, cool, I got it.
Right. So that was the same night?
I believe it was the same night. Yeah. Yes, it was. And
so would you get some tips?
I was like, I'll work off, small, I think I was paid hourly at that time.
Yes.
I remember I was like one of the actual server type people.
Oh, so you had you were.
No, I wasn't working like that, but that's just how I was, and then
salary line.
Yeah, I guess that was it. I can't even remember at that, but I remember I would get tips, and the tips were, I was like, this is great.
Yeah, yeah.
They
call this work?
They call this work,